right. Hello and welcome. Today I am joined by Mia Levy. Mia, after completing her master's in Tel Aviv University's international program in conflict resolution and mediation, is now working at EcoPeace, a regional environmental peace-building organization in the Middle East. Mia, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mia, I can't tell you how interesting it sounds to study conflict resolution and mediation. It sounds like the kind of field that you'd put to use like in your everyday tasks, not to mention, in the major international level. Can you tell me a little bit about the program? How did it go for you?
Yeah, no, I think that you already gave it a very good description. That the most amazing thing about this program was that it was on a macro and micro level teaching us about conflict. So I got to learn about water diplomacy, about different kinds of ways that officials and stakeholders meet in the government. But at the same time, on a micro level, I got to learn about how to mediate and how to negotiate. And we actually learned from experts in the field. And I, in the end of my program, received a certification in international mediation. So I loved the program. It went great for me.
Oh, wow. That sounds like something very Israeli, just basically learning to negotiate and argue.
Yeah, but it's a really important skill.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, learning it specifically in Israel, I can imagine, is so much different than studying. I mean, I believe your BA was in sociology and anthropology, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
sociocultural anthropology, same thing.
So studying these different kinds of fields in the US versus like in an area that's such a hot conflict and has such a socio-political tension, it must be really, really different.
Yeah, it's actually one of the big reasons why I chose to come to school in Israel versus I actually was ready to go to school in the US. I had applied, I was accepted, and kind of last minute changed because in the US, you get a very great academic background. You get to learn from people who have spent their whole lives studying about this. But at the program here in Tel Aviv, you learn from experts who are on the ground working in this every day. You take an international law class by one of the top international lawyers in the world. And then they also do field trips as well to go to the wall with the architect who constructed it, to go to the border with Gaza and to look in there and learn about what happened over there. And it gives you this ability to take what you learn in class and to apply it to the real world, and to increase your learning tenfold, I think.
Oh, wow. So it's really hands-on studying as well as the usual academic book learning.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Very cool.
absolutely.
So can you tell me also, speaking of, taking the matters and applying them in reality, can you tell me a little bit about the internships that you did with the program?
Mm-hmm. So the program, we had the option to do an internship in our second semester, and I decided to do that. And they helped us secure an internship by giving us possibilities to apply to. And then I was selected to intern at Alliance for Middle East Peace, which is ALMEP. It's one of the big peace building organizations in the region. It was an incredible experience because it showed me the ropes of everything that was going on, and actually helped lead me to my position that I have currently with EcoPeace, because I was able to take what I learned there and apply it to other organizations that I wanted to work with. In addition, during my time at Tel Aviv University, I interned with the United States government, with the United States Agency for International Development.
Wow.
Yeah, which was a great ability to, because my goal in life is to work for the US in international relations. So to work from US while living here and interning at another organization, it kind of was full perspective of everything.
Wow. And now you're working at EcoPeace, like you mentioned, which is a major player in one of the arguably the biggest conflicts in the world today. Tell me a little bit about what you do there today.
Yeah, absolutely. So EcoPeace, it's a trilateral organization. We have an office in Tel Aviv, in Ramallah, and in Amman. And we work mainly on water scarcity issues, but on other environmental problems as well. And my job specifically within EcoPeace is I'm more of a background player. I work in, writing reports and reaching out to international stakeholders. It's not the most flashy kind of job, but it's actually what I wanted to do during my time here, because I don't think, as someone who is not Israeli, is not Palestinian, is not Jordanian, that I shouldn't be in the forefront of this conflict, making the decisions, that I'd rather support it from a background point of view.
Hmm. Hmm. And like you said, it's not flashy, but it is the nitty gritty. You have your hands deep in the
Oh,
action.
absolutely. Definitely.
Oh wow. So like what are the kinds of things that you see in your work? Like what kind of actual communication is happening there? What kind of
Um,
conflict resolution?
yeah, so you get to see a lot of, because we do work that's on the advocacy level, so with government stakeholders, but at the same time, we get to do work with different kinds of community levels. So I, because I get to do the reporting, I actually have to be the person who's at these events looking in the background and, seeing what's going on behind the scenes. And so I've been able to go, to dialogue processes that we've had between Israelis and Palestinians. I actually get to use the work that I did in my master's, the things I learned in negotiation, and share that with the groups there. I also have been, to peace building conferences in the West Bank, to talk about, how can we interact more with the US government to secure funding and those kinds of aspects.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, so definitely applying those skills from your MA program
Mhm.
into your real life work. How, in that long run goal of working for the US government and in conflict resolution and mediation, how do you see your studies contributing to the work that would be done in such a position as well?
I think, I mean, not only does the work that I do, the things that I learned in my master's, is that applicable to my future career? It's applicable to every single thing that I do in life. So it's hard to differentiate how it could help me. But I think something that this master's program has really given me is the ability to understand how, well, on a macro level, how international stakeholders interact with each other. And so, as someone who's from the US, who arguably is a more powerful stakeholder, you have a very interesting dynamic in the mediation game, and you have the ability to mediate between different countries at like a very high level. I think that my work in the US, because I want to work in international relations, I'd love to be that intermediary between the two people, to not only use those micro level conversational skills that I learned, but at the same time learn, how to draft policy, how to interact with, news media outlets, things of that nature.
Right. It sounds like it can apply to so many different actions and things that can be put to use in a broad range of fields, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And can't imagine a field that you wouldn't need to know how to negotiate. You wouldn't need to know how to mediate. I mean, even when you go to buy a car, you need to know these skills. And that's something really valuable you get from this program.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Mia. It's been lovely chatting with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I had a great time.